We got to talk about the Super Bowl. It's official, like a referee with a whistle. Like, share this episode. Tell me where you're from. So yeah, we got to talk about the Super Bowl. There's a lot of things that was, I would say, interesting about the Super Bowl this year. I didn't see all the game. I saw the second half, and I saw parts of the first half. But even before the Super Bowl, they have the Super Bowl commercials, and it's very interesting. The Super Bowl is very corporate now. It's full blown corporate now. The commercials, they have Super Bowl commercials specifically for the day of the Super Bowl. For that 3.5 hour time frame of the game, they have commercials strictly for the game. For this 3.5 hour time frame, right? Companies paid millions of dollars to have their commercials shown. And I don't know about you, where I live, I didn't see no black person in any of those commercials. I find that to be very interesting because I've never seen that before. This is the first time that I can remember where I didn't see any black person in any of the commercials. No entertainers, no black athletes, none. I didn't see any of the commercials. Now, where you from, it could have been different. I'm in North Carolina. Now, if you're in California, it might be different. Because depending on where you live at in what region you live at, or even parts of the world you live at, the commercial is going to be different. But where I'm at, I didn't see no black person. Whether he was an entertainer or athlete or whatever, in none of the commercials. So that's the first thing that I observed, which was, it's interesting. I'm not surprised, but it's interesting. And it was a good game. It was a good game. I ain't gonna front. It was a good game. I can't front. A good game. Now, what's interesting after the game, when they presented the trophy to the winning team. In this case, it was Kansas City, right? Now, all the players that impacted the game didn't really get a chance to really say much, if anything at all. Now, of course, Patrick Mahomes, he deserves, to get a lot of shine because he made a lot of impact plays in the game, right? But there was no defensive players that got a chance to speak. Yeah, I know there's a certain amount of time they have to have people speak at the podium. But I noticed that none of the black players on defense, specifically on defense, was on the podium. right? If you go back and look at the video, I mean, it's probably online by now. None of the black players that impacted the game were on the podium. Now, if you watched the second half of the game, the defense really won the game. The defense made the plays at the appropriate times. Like Chris Jones. If it was a 3rd and 4th down. It was a 3rd and 4. And San Francisco had the ball. And Chris Jones came up the middle and rushed the quarterback. If Chris Jones didn't come up the middle and rush the quarterback on that 3rd and 4, when San Francisco had the ball, if you go back and look at the tape, that would have been a touchdown. Because the San Francisco wide receiver, he was open. And Brock Purdy had to throw the ball early because he saw Chris Jones coming up the middle. Nobody talked about that play after the game. And go look at it. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Just go look at the tape. Go look at that play. Because after that play, San Francisco ended up kicking a field goal. I thought San Francisco was going to score a touchdown and the game was going to be over. But they ended up kicking a field goal because of that play. All the players that made the plays on defense, none of them they didn't want to hear anything. None of them had to say on defense. The defense won the game. Yeah, I know that when the Kansas City got the ball back and they went down the field and scored a touchdown. Yeah, great. But even the guy that caught the touchdown, they only asked him one question. Hey, how does it feel to catch the winning touchdown? Oh, it feels good. All right, go enjoy yourself. That's less than 10 seconds. I find it there's a lot of double standards in our society, unfortunately. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now, you might say, well, it's a time limit, man, on that podium. They don't have all night to talk and speak. Yeah, I know this, I understand this, but it always seems like when it's my time to speak, my time is always short. That's all I'm saying. I just call a spade a spade. And then you had Travis Kelce up there. You gotta fight for your rights. The party. He yelling and screaming like a damn fool and singing some other song. I don't know what the hell he's saying. Now, see, that type of foolery, even that's a double standard. Because any other player on the team, if Chris Jones did that, if Chris Jones acted like Kelce did, or does, because this ain't like a one-off thing. This is pretty much his personality. But if Chris Jones acted like Kelce did, it would be a problem. Somebody would sit Chris Jones down and tell him, hey, this way of behaving that you're doing is unacceptable. That's what would happen. But Travis Kelce, he get away with it because they say, oh, he's a frat boy. You know, he likes to have a good time and all this bullshit or whatever. And I don't got a problem with it. I don't care. I don't give a fuck about football like that. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of double standards in society, and you can't avoid it, and it ain't going nowhere no time soon. It's double standards at your job. If you're like me, if you're a black male or even a black woman, and if you work your job And if you want to get promoted, and if you're not great, it's probably not going to happen. Yeah, they might give you a raise, a couple cents, 50 cents, but you're probably not going to get promoted. You have to be great. And even in sports, if you look at all the top or the high paying players or the highest paying players, most of them just happen to be black. Most of them. I said great, not good. There's a difference. If you want to make top dollar in the NFL, you have to be a great player. If you're a black male. See, white guys don't got to be great. And they still get their money. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about, yeah, I know certain quarterbacks ain't as good as certain other quarterbacks or whatever. Then the market determines how they get paid. Yeah. But if you take the quarterback position out of it, let's say you're a wide receiver, running back. Well, not running back. They don't even value running backs no more. You know, but let's say you're any other position, lineman, wide receiver, you know, if you're not a great player, you're not getting paid top dollar. As a matter of fact, if you age out, start getting, if you're in your 30s or you hit 30 and you're getting paid top dollar, they're trying to find a way, an excuse to get rid of you. If you're in your 30s, because they got the young boys coming out of college. So, and it's easy to find an excuse to get rid of you. All you got to do is stop throwing you the ball. Stop passing you the ball. That's all you got to do. You go from the first quarterback read, to the second quarterback read. Then you the third quarterback read. And now all of a sudden, you're not even starting no more. So let's say you get paid $20 million as a receiver. At the end of the season, they're going to be like, hey, you got to take a pay cut. You're not productive as much. And then you'd be like, why y'all don't throw me the ball? Yeah, I know it was a tough season, whatever, but you still ain't productive as you was before you signed the deal. Yeah, I ain't the first read, that's why. You know, and they come up with all these excuses. Or maybe you got hurt. If you get hurt, you know, NFL's cutthroat. If you get hurt, and you're a top guy, one of the top players on the team. Now you would say, well, you shouldn't use that. If someone get hurt, they shouldn't use that against you. Shit. Hell, they don't give a fuck about that shit. You get hurt, oh well, he's not reliable. And at the end of the season, they be like, look, he keep getting hurt. You know, they trying to find somebody else to put in your position. You know, and the way it's going now, they don't really have a problem with trading you now since free agency came in. You know, these teams are not loyal to you, loyal to these players no more. I mean, I'm not saying they ever was, but it's today especially, they're trading them like they're on the stock market. You know, so if you want to make top dollar in the NFL, you got to be a great player. not a good player or average player. The white guys can get away with that. White guys, you have players like quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins. He got 3 years ago, he got 3 year, $87 million deal. All of it guaranteed too. Is Kirk Cousins a great quarterback? No. If you follow football, you know Kirk Cousins ain't no great quarterback, but he made millions of dollars. He signed a 3-year, $87 million. All the money guaranteed. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I'm just telling you how it is out here. There's a lot of double standards, a lot of shit that ain't fair. A lot of people find themselves in positions where it ain't fair. It ain't right. They don't get a fair shake. And it could happen on any place of employment. Wherever it's athletics or on your job, the double standards are gonna be there. That's the point I'm trying to make. You can't run from it either. You just have to deal with it. And what's crazy is you even have double standards in your relationships. It could be. You might not know about it. You might not realize it. And it usually happens, at least based on my experience, amongst women from outside of your culture, outside of the women. So in other words, the women that you didn't see growing up very much or at all, it usually happens when you meet them. So if say you're a black male and you meet a woman that's from the DR or from Colombia or Japanese or Chinese or from the islands or somewhere like that, and you meet her, y'all get along, y'all having fun in the beginning. And it always starts off good in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But you don't know how she was raised or how she grew up. You don't know how it was when she was born. You don't know how their relationship dynamic is where she came from. You don't even know how her family is. You really don't know. Because you haven't been around her family or any around. Maybe she's the first Colombian girl you ever met, right? All you know is her. You getting to know her, and you only know as much as she tells you, basically. You know what I'm saying? That's all you know, right? And that's okay in the beginning because it's a process, right? So as you get to know her, 6 months go by, 12 months go by, or whatever, and you thinking like, okay, she's pretty cool, whatever. And now it's time to meet her family. And then maybe you go back home where she came from, her town, her city, wherever, right? And you realize that the guys where she from don't treat her the same. Yeah, you realize that the shit you doing is totally different lifestyle, totally different treatment. You're going above and beyond the Call of Duty. Like you be like, God damn, these dudes don't do half of what I'm doing over on the other side where we live at. Be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Now you met this chick. She takes you back where she was born and raised, the house where she was born and raised. And you realize she grew up poor. She grew up in a shack The town she grew up is a raggedy piece of shit town, right? She grew up in the hood, the ghetto, whatever, right? But it's a raggedy piece of shit town. And she grew up there throughout her teenage years and even as an adult. She didn't really get a break of starting to live halfway decent until she moved to North America, right? But all of a sudden, and maybe when you met her here in North America, maybe she was doing all right. She's working a decent job. She got an apartment, got a roommate, whatever, got a car, whatever. That's cool. But here's the problem. When she came to America, all of a sudden, this bitch gotten brand new. She got all these, got all these kind of a new way of thinking, kind of, and a lot of it's not. It's not. A lot of it's her being arrogant. She forgot where she came from. Now she come to North America. She's talking about how she want this rich guy and he has to have money and all this long list of shit. Now she got a huge expectation for you, right? But when it comes to her, the standards and expectations is low. What type of bullshit is that? See, it's okay when it's the standard, the high standards and expectations is on you. But when it comes to her, it's like, oh no, that's different. I can't do all that. I'm like, wait a minute. So now it's a double standard now. When it's time, when it's my turn, things that you expect from me is one thing, but when it comes to you, the standard is low. So the bar is low for her, but high for me. All right, hell no. So no, this is how I see it. If them other dudes ain't doing it, I ain't doing it either. In her culture, where she came from. And this happens all the time. It happens when I say this happens all the time with these other groups of women from these other places. And you won't know no better unless you go back to where she came from or the people she was hanging around, or you talk to some of the guys where she came from. Because if you don't, you might be doing too much. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do a lot. I'm saying you shouldn't have high standards. I'm saying you shouldn't be doing shit to somebody that don't deserve it. That's all I'm saying. Or maybe she don't deserve it. Or maybe the bar shouldn't be low for her and high for you. Don't put her on a pedestal like that. That's what I'm saying. That's the point. You know what I'm saying? So see, this is where these double standards come into play at, and you might not even realize it. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? You might not even realize it. So you gotta be careful. You know what I'm saying? But you can't get any place where there's some type of job employment in the workforce. You can't get around the double standards. It's ingrained in the company with the people within that company. And you have people you have personal relationships with, they pretty much go along and get along. They know the shit ain't cool, But as long as they benefit, they'll go along with it anyway. So you as a man and your job is one thing, and your personal life is another thing. In your personal life, you can control that shit. You as a man gotta say, hey, we ain't doing that. I know how dudes get down where you from. The shit I'm doing is 10 times better than the shit they would ever do. So hey, don't get off that high horse. Don't expect this shit to be like this every week or every day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it might be like this every once in a while, but don't think that this lavish weekend is gonna be like this all the time. That's all I'm saying. You know? And then when it's her turn, the bar is low. No, don't tolerate that shit. Don't put up with that shit. And you have a lot of people will go along, you know, they won't say shit. They'll let you walk through a burning house and know you going down the wrong path and won't say shit. That shit ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? And you need to check these women or check anybody that's willing to see you going down the wrong path, know you going down the wrong path. They won't say shit in advance. No, that shit ain't cool. You know what I'm saying? But in your personal life, you have say so on that. You have control with that. You can cut them people off. You know. So being an athlete ain't, you know, they employed too. They go through the same shit as a regular employee did. None of those impact players on defense said anything after the game. Just on the defense. You know what I'm saying? They just kept focusing on Travis Kelce and what's the girl name? and his woman, Taylor Swift. You know, they just want to show her they kissing them. Well, okay, whatever. That's cool. I ain't got no problem with that. But I'm telling you, you don't see them other black players doing what Travis Kelce's doing. That's all you might say it's fun. He having fun, man. He enjoying his life, enjoying the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's cool. But I'm telling you, other players, Chris Jones can't get away with that. Being loud and no. It's not. Chris Jones know better not to do no shit like that. No. You know. Now let's talk about the halftime performance with Usher. That shit was dope. Usher tore it down. I gotta give it to him. It looked like it was hot as shit out there. Usher was sweating his ass off. He needed a towel. Yeah, Usher was sweating his ass off out there, boy. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, he had Usher brought Ludacris out. Alicia Keys out. Little John out. I don't know who that other girl was. She looked familiar. I didn't know who that other girl was with the guitar. Yeah, tell me who that girl was with the guitar. She looked familiar. I wasn't sure. Well, he brought a couple people out. Some of them people were Jermaine Dupri was on stage. There's a couple people on at the end of the stage. At the end of the show, a couple people was on stage. So he brought quite a few people on stage. There was more people on stage at the end, but you really couldn't see because the camera zoomed out. But they wasn't actually performing, the people that were on the stage at the end of the show when they were closing out. But so Usher brought out a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? It was a good show. Now here's where I thought things went a little I guess troubling. Some people would say it's a little troubling. See, Usher's an entertainer. Now, when he was singing with Alicia Keys, her voice kind of, it sounded like she kind of lost her voice a little bit. Or her voice was kind of cracking a little bit. It was kind of shaky in the beginning, but she got it. She held it together. Her voice, I don't know what happened. Maybe she was singing last night, maybe this week, and lost her voice. I'm not sure, but her voice was a little cracky, right? Usher kind of grabbed her from the back and he kind of put his hand kind of in the front of her vagina. It's go look at the picture. You see what I'm talking about. It was the very intimate hug from the back, I would say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, Alicia Keys is married to Swizz Beatz. I don't know if Swizz Beatz would have a problem with that. I don't think he would like it, but I don't think he would make a big deal about it. I tell you that much. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, Usher, he's an entertainer. I think he does a lot of things for for showmanship, just for show, whatever. But I know some people said that was disrespectful. They thought that was They thought what Usher did to Alicia Keys, because he kind of put her hand below her stomach. Some people kind of said that they thought that was kind of disrespectful or whatever. But I can see where they're coming from. But I think I don't think Swizz Beatz would make a big deal about it. Because it's Usher. I think Usher do a lot of things just for show sometimes. But it was a very intimate hug from the back. Go look at it. If you didn't, go look at the pictures. Or go look at the show. You see what I'm talking about. But hey, it was a good show, man. It was a good show. But some people were saying that they're tired of seeing the cameras on Taylor Swift during the game. They want to look at they want to focus on the game and not on Taylor Swift. And I thought that people like seeing Taylor Swift on camera. That's what I thought. I don't know. I could be wrong. You tell me. You think, maybe you like seeing Taylor Swift on camera. And you have to remember, football players don't get treated. Football players don't get treated the same. They don't get treated the same. No. Now you get treated fair, but not the same. So I'll give you an example. There's a lot of football players that's married, and some of their wives is well known. But you don't see them. They don't show their wives on camera. They don't. We've known football players that got married to famous people, but they don't show their wives on camera. They don't. It can be a girlfriend. Look, Taylor Swift and Kelsey, they're not even married. And they're showing on camera like that. You know what I'm saying? And like some of the stuff some of the top guys in football, they can show up late for meetings. They can get DUIs and go to jail and get out. No problem. Ain't nothing gonna happen to them. Hey man, just, sweep that under the rug. Now, if one of them rookies do that, or undrafted guy does that, he gone. Or a guy that they don't like, he gone. That's why I say all football players don't get treated the same. Those are just a few examples, easy examples. You know what I'm saying? The standards is different. The treatment is different for everybody. And it's not just a football thing. It's a society thing. You know what I'm saying? Some people say it's about status. Well, it's not about status all the time. It's bigger than just status. Status is just a mini. That's just a small problem. Or I wouldn't say it's a problem. That's just status has a little bit to do with it. But it's much bigger than that. But overall, it was a good game. Good performance by Usher. But I didn't see much of the first half. I saw all of the second half. Good game. San Francisco had their chances to win. They didn't take advantage of it. And that's it. If you go back and look at the game, it's probably online by now. If you go back and look at the game, you'll see what I'm saying is true. A lot of the defense really won the game, but they didn't get the credit. And the players, all the impact players that impacted the game, they didn't get the credit, and they didn't even get a chance to talk. That's my point when I say when it comes to double standards. That's one of the biggest thing you're going to see. The people that really should have their voices heard don't get a chance to say anything in most cases. It's always the same people doing the talking all the time. It's either Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and the coach for Kansas City. It's the same people talk all the time. All the time. It's the same people. With the exception of the Super Bowl. Before the Super Bowl, they had a little press week or whatever. But if you go back and look at every team in the NFL, it's always the same, almost always the same players for the most part. Quarterback, coach, and whoever the top receiver is. If they even have a top receiver on the team. Or it could be a running back. But whoever the franchise player is, it's going to be the franchise player and the quarterback and the coach. Regardless of the production on that game, on that day and time in the game. Regardless. You know what I'm saying? But the people that really made the play, that impacted the game, they never have a chance to say anything. The only time they want to have a chance to say anything is when it's something negative. Is when they want to edge, kind of set the player up, kind of egg him on, so they can get a sound bite and use him against him. Dez Bryant talked a lot about that. That's why they say the game is to be sold, not told. So hey, share this video. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. and all that good stuff. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight, but then I saw the stallion that I like. Hair from Cali, I live in the valley.